Hello students, welcome back to the class. So the last class we have discussed about the power and function of Chief Minister, in which we have discussed about what are the various functions. So he acts as a representative. He is a representative of the Legislative Assembly. He is the leader of Legislative Assembly. He is the leader of the people. Okay, and he can give the advice to the governor regarding the appointment of various ministers. He will advise the governor regarding the selections and distribution of portfolios, etc. Today we are going for a new topic, which is the Council of Ministers at state level. In this point we will discuss about first composition, and we will discuss about what are the various functions of Council of Ministers. Okay, so first we will discuss about what is meant by Council of Ministers. We will discuss about the composition, and then we will discuss about the functions of Council of Ministers in the same topic. So Council of Ministers or Council of Ministers at state level. Already we know, children, Council of Ministers are mainly at three level. At central level also we can find, at state level. Now we will go forward. Council of Ministers at state level. Now Constitution has provided the parliamentary at state level, that is Legislative Assembly. What is the parliament at state level? That is called as State Legislative Assembly. So Constitution has provided parliament at state level, which is State Legislative Assembly. Okay, this is one point. Second thing is the Constitution has appointed the governor as a nominal executive. So Constitution has appointed governor as a nominal executive. Why governor is a nominal executive? Because all the administrations in the state level will be carried in the name of governor, but governor will act only on the advice of Chief Minister and Council of Ministers, and that's why the governor is a nominal executive. Without the advice of Council of Ministers and Chief Minister, governor cannot act on its own way. According to the Constitution also, governor had to follow the decision, and governor had to take the suggestion and advice of Council of Ministers, the leader of Council of Ministers, Chief Minister as well as Council of Ministers. Now, according to the Constitution, the real executive is under the control of State Council of Ministers. So all the real executive will be under the control of State Council of Ministers. Okay. So what we have discussed in this point, we have discussed that Constitution has created a parliamentary at state level, which is the State Legislative Assembly. In the State Legislative Assembly, the head of the State Legislative Assembly is governor. But governor is a nominal head because he cannot act on his own. He have to take the advice from the Council of Ministers, and he have to take the advice from the Prime Minister. By taking their advice, the governor can able to implement the decisions and governor can act, but the governor cannot be act by his own. This is also one point. Next, when we are talking about it, composition, but real executive, who is the real executive is? Real executive is the Council of Ministers headed by Chief Minister. So Council of Ministers are the real executive because they will take all the decisions. Day-to-day administrations will be under the control of State Council of Ministers. All the important decisions, policies, plans, okay, so they will formulate different type of policies, implementing policies. So that's why the Council of Ministers enjoy the real executive, real power. Now here if you see the composition, now next point, when we are coming to the composition, State Council of Ministers are mainly classified into two types. One is at Chief Minister and other ministers. Okay, in State Council of Ministers we can find Chief Minister and other ministers comes under the State Council of Ministers. They enjoy the real power at state level. Similarly at Parliament, when we have discussed in Parliament, same thing, Prime Minister as well as Union Council of Ministers plays important role in Parliament. At state level we have State Council of Ministers and State Council of Ministers and Chief Ministers. Okay, sorry children, State Council of Ministers and Chief Ministers plays the very important role in Parliament. Now, who will appoint the ministers is governor will appoint the ministers. No doubt, governor will make all the appointment of ministers, but governor will appoint these ministers only on the advice of Chief Minister. When the Chief Minister will advise the governor to appoint the ministers, then only the governor will appoint the ministers. This is also one point. So chief ministers will select some important members, chief minister will select some eminent person, and chief ministers will make this eminent person to appoint by governor. So chief minister will advise governor, and on the advice of chief minister, the governor will appoint the state council of ministers, and this state council of ministers plays very important role in state level. Okay, next point. When we are talking about the chief minister here, okay, when we are talking about chief ministers will enjoy some privilege in the legislative assembly. Privilege means benefits. Chief ministers will enjoy some benefits at legislative assembly. What is the main benefits? Chief minister has some benefits because some legislative assembly can be appointed by chief minister only. Chief minister will select some, just now I said, chief ministers are selecting some, chief minister will select one eminent person, some few eminent person, and he will make this eminent person to appoint by governor. So this is a privilege the chief minister will enjoy, and chief minister only will advise the governor to distribute the portfolios and positions to the various ministers. After selecting these ministers, so governor, the role is the chief minister will advise the governor to distribute the portfolios. So governor, on the advice of chief minister, the governor, what he will do, he will distribute all the portfolios and positions to the various ministers. This is also one point. So okay, this is also one important composition. Okay, this is one important composition. Now we will go forward. State council of ministers, when you are talking about the strength, how many ministers are appointed? Okay, that is mainly depends upon the size of legislative assembly. Okay, but here if you see, the state council of ministers strength is at least 15% of legislative assembly. Okay, 15%. For example, imagine that in a legislative assembly, the total member of legislative assembly is 150 members are there. In that 15% of members should be appointed as a council of minister, state council of minister. So clearly it was mentioned that the strength of state legislative assembly, according to the strength of state legislative assembly, 15% council of ministers should be appointed. So state council of ministers strength is 15% of the legislative assembly. If the strength of legislative assembly is 150, then 15 members will be selected as a state council of ministers. Okay, that is one point. Next, this is according to the 91st Amendment 2003. One more point is the council of ministers strength should not be less than 12 members. Okay, most of the council of ministers strength should not be less than 12 members. This is also one point. So normally that is according to the 15% of legislative assembly. Okay, in most of the legislative assembly, the size are mainly denoted according to the population. Whatever might be the legislative assembly size, the state council of ministers, when they are appointed in the particular state, that should be 15% of the legislative assembly. That should be the 15% of the strength of the legislative assembly. So this is one few points which very important. Next, come to the point, children. Here we have discussed about compositions. Once again, if you see, the Constitution has provided the parliamentary form at state level, which is the state legislative assembly, and the Constitution has appointed a governor, and governor is a nominal head. Why governor is a nominal head? Because all the real executive will be under the control of chief minister and council of ministers, and governor cannot act by his own. The governor, whenever he wanted to act, he have to depend upon the state council of ministers, and sometimes he have to depend upon chief minister, and that's why here the governor is a nominal head, and the chief minister and council of ministers will enjoy the real power. Next, we have discussed all the state executives will be under the control of state council of ministers. All the administration, all the decisions regarding the plans, policies, okay, under the presence of state councils of ministers only, the chief ministers will take important plans and policies. Okay, so everything, all the administrations of various departments will be under the control of state council of ministers. Now compositions, when you are seeing, state council of ministers are mainly consists of chief minister as well as other council of ministers. Okay, other council of ministers comes under state council of ministers. Governor will appoint the ministers. Okay, governor will appoint, but governor will appoint only on the advice of chief minister. Governor will appoint various ministers. Chief minister has some privilege. What are the privilege? Chief ministers from among the legislative assembly, he can select some members as a ministers, and he will advise the governor to allocate the portfolios for these ministers. So first, chief minister from his party member, he will select some important members. Okay, after selecting the important members as ministers, he will advise the governor to select this, he will advise the governor to distribute the portfolios. When you are talking about the strength of Council of Ministers, the strength of Council of Ministers are mainly depends upon the strength of Legislative Assembly. Total strength of Legislative Assembly, 15% should be the strength of the Council of Ministers. Okay, and the strength of Council of Ministers should not be less than 12 members. The strength of Council of Ministers should not be less than 12 members. Next, when we are talking about the powers and functions. So when we are talking about the powers and functions, we will discuss in this class about two important functions of Council of Ministers. So one is formulating of state government policies and maintaining of administrations. So first we will discuss formulation of state policies or formulation of government policy. So state councils of ministers are mainly responsible for formulating all the policies. Okay, formulating the important policy. What are the important policies? Policies why it will be taken by the government to provide welfare and for development activity. State government will provide different type of policies. Okay, different type of policies the state government will start it. So this policy. So but here if you see that who is responsible for the formulating the policies? State council of ministers. State councils of ministers are mainly responsible to formulate different type of policies. Next one, state councils of ministers will determine and they will take decisions on various matters. The state councils of ministers wanted all the decisions regarding various matter will be taken by the state council of ministers. This is one point. And the state councils of ministers will discuss with the chief minister also. If they wanted to discuss regarding plans and policies with the chief minister, state councils of ministers has a right, they will discuss the plans and policies with the chief ministers also. This is one point. So what we have discussed here, so state councils of ministers are responsible for formulating any policies, and state councils of ministers will determine and they will take decisions regarding the various matter. State councils of ministers will discuss with the chief ministers regarding plans and various policies also. This is one point. Next come to the point, formulating of state policies are nothing but implementing the state policies. Implementing the state policies. Here when we are discussing about formulating is nothing but implementing the state policies. So implementing the state policies which is under the control of state council of ministers. Okay, so state councils of ministers are responsible for implementing. State councils of ministers will discuss with the chief ministers regarding various plans and policies. Okay, and state councils of ministers will play a very important role for determining and they will take decisions on various matters. Okay, almost all the decisions will be under the control of state council of ministers. Maintenance of administration. Second one, state council of ministers are mainly responsible for maintaining of administration. So here if you see the state council of ministers, this state council of ministers will maintain the administration. State councils of ministers will maintain day-to-day administrations. Almost all the administrations will be under the control, running the country. Okay, how to run the country, how to develop the country, what type of administrations will be under the control of them. They are responsible for administrating policies. So state councils of ministers are responsible for the policies to run the administration. Okay, next, they are responsible for laws and order, children. Okay, so implementing the laws, okay, maintaining the laws. Most of the administrations regarding laws will under the control of state council of ministers. They are responsible for administrations and they are responsible for various departments also. Okay, day-to-day administration which is under the control of state government. Maintenance of laws and order, that is also under the control of state council of ministers. Okay, and responsible for law, that is also under the control of state council of ministers. State council of ministers are responsible towards the law. Okay, they should see that all the activities should be done properly and they should see all the administration should be run perfectly, okay, according to the laws and order. Okay, this is one point. So state council of ministers are maintains the administration. They are responsible for maintaining the administrations in the policies. They are mainly responsible for preparing laws, okay, and they are responsible for various departments also. So this is one point we have discussed. So in this point what we have discussed overall, we have discussed about the council of ministers in the state level, we have discussed about the composition, okay, and what is state council of ministers and what are the powers and functions. So here we have discussed that constitution has provided the parliamentary at state level and constitution has appointed a governor which is called as nominal power. Why? Because all the important power will be taken by the state council of ministers and chief minister. Okay, and State Council of Chief Ministers will advise the governor, and only on the advice of State Council of Chief Minister governor have to act. Then if you see, the real executive is under the control of State Council of Ministers. State councils of ministers including two peoples, one is Chief Minister and other ministers are including the State Council of Ministers. Governor will appoint the various ministers, and Chief Minister has some privilege to the legislature. Chief Minister will advise the governor regarding the distribution of portfolios. So Chief Minister has some privilege. What is the privilege? He will appoint some members from their party members, and he will make the governor to appoint them. And here if you see the strength of total legislative assembly, 15%. Council of Ministers should be the 15% of the strength of Legislative Assembly. For example, if the strength of Legislative Assembly is 150, then 15 members are the strength of Council of Ministers, and strength of Council of Ministers should not be less than 12 members. Now we have discussed about functions of Council of Ministers. First one is they are responsible for implementing the laws. Okay, they are implementing policies and various plans, etc. They will discuss with the Chief Ministers, okay, regarding the various plans, policies, and for implementing. For maintaining the administration, day-to-day administrations were also under the control of them. Maintaining the laws and order, okay, maintaining the administrative policies, maintaining the administrations for various departments. So everything is under the control of Council of Ministers. So children, this is about the compositions and function of Council of Ministers. In the next topic, we will discuss about some other functions of the Council of Ministers. Okay, thank you very much.